Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we will be talking about some interview questions. I have created a playlist about all the interview questions. So this is an addition to that particular playlist. So in this video, I will be talking about the interview question that has been asked in Deloitte by one of my students. So he has shared this question with me. So I'm just sharing this question, and exactly how to approach this question, I will let you know. So in this playlist, I will be putting further with more questions related to the Deloitte interview questions. If you have not watched this particular playlist, then I will pin it in the I button. Please make sure you go ahead and watch it out. So let's get started with our first questions, that is for the interview preparation list. So I have an employees data set with the employee ID, employee name and skills. So the employee ID one is employee name John, and it has these skills like Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks and Power BI. Steve has these many skills, and similarly James have these skills, and AC has these skills. So now my output that I want is basically this on the right side. I need my employee name and I need all the skills that are there for John in one row itself. So it will be one row and it will be comma separated. So this is basically a string. The skills column is a string data type and I want them separated by comma. Similarly, Steve is skilled with ADF, SQL and Crystal report. So I want them in one row separated by comma. Similarly for James and AC. So how exactly will you be approaching this particular question? So for that, there could be many ways. The most easiest way I will show it with to you. So this is my employee data frame, and first of all what I will do is, in the Pyspark we have a function called collect list. So what I will be doing is, I'll be collecting all the data that is present in my skills column into a list format. So what does it mean? It means all the skills will be in one row, but it will be in a list format. So if you will see, what I will be doing first is, the John employee is having ADF, ADB and Power BI. I will be collecting this as a list. So what is the functionality of collect list? It is basically to collect all the data and all the values of a particular data frame in a particular list. So the data type will be a list. The output data type of collect list will be a list. Now this is done using the collect list function, okay, and then this output will be there. Now after this, what I want is, I don't want the column in a list format or in an array format. I want it in a string data type. So how will I convert this list into a string data type? It's very easy way. What I can do is, I know that it is comma separated. So I can move this comma separated list and convert this into this particular string format. How can I do it? There could be multiple ways. The very easiest way that the Pyspark provide is again one functionality, which is called Concat with separator. With separator means, I have this separator of ADF and ADB. ADF and ADB is being separated by what? It's separated by this comma. So I have my separator as comma. With the help of this comma, I'll be separating and then concatenating everything in order to get a string data type. Okay, so this is how I can achieve the result in the most easiest way. In the end of this video, I will give you a variance of how this particular question can be asked in a different way and how you can solve this out. So let's go to our Databricks notebook and see how we can resolve this. So this is my Databricks notebook. I have my cluster open. This is my question one in the playlist of the Deloitte, and I have this data set which I'm creating this as a data set, and I have provided a schema called employee ID, employee name, skill, and creating a data frame out of it. If in case you don't know how to create a data frame out of a data set list, then please watch my video in which I've explained you how to create data frames in different ways using the schema and without using the schema of it. Now the data frame is ready, and you can see I have my John, Steve, James and AC skill set here. So I want it in a string format in one particular row. Now the next step that I will be doing is, as I will be using these functions called collect list, concat, ws and column, then I'm just importing these functions. After importing these functions from the pyspark.sql.functions, then I will be actually applying my logic in which I will be giving my output. So in this, I have my data frame 1. What I will be doing is I will be grouping my data set on the basis of employee ID and name. You can group it by employee name also. I'm just using the employee ID and employee name because each employee ID is having a distinct name itself. For example, employee ID is having employee name John, employee ID 2 is having employee name Steve, and 3 is having James, and 4 is having AC. So now I have my employee ID and employee name in my group by condition. Now what I need is I need to use and go ahead and collect these three in a list format. So for that I will be using a collect list format function. And how I can use a function which is this is an aggregated function. Okay, collect list is an aggregated function. If you want to know more about the collect list, please watch my previous video in which I have explained to you what is a collect list, how you can use the collect list, and what is a collect set and all, because this video is not meant for explaining the collect list. So I will pin that in the I button. Make sure you watch that to understand properly what is a collect list. Now I will be actually using the aggregated function using AGG, and I am putting that function, the collect list aggregated function. Inside that I am putting my column. On which column I want the collect list? I want it on the skills column, and then I am actually going ahead and aliasing it, like I am renaming that column into skill list. So this is my skill list. If I don't use this, then it will be giving me like the column name as collect list of skills, but I don't want that to be there in my output. What I want is I want an output which is called skills. So I am just for the beautification purpose or aliasing purpose, you can say I'm just using a collect list. Now I'm displaying this particular list. Now if you will see, John is having the list ADF, ADB and Power BI, but if you will see, it is an array type. Okay, it is having array 0, 1 and 2. But what I need is I don't want an array type. I want it as a string type. If I just go ahead and enlarge this, you will see employee ID is long, employee name is string, but the skill list is an array. Inside that array, each element is a string. But what I want is, I don't want it as an array. I just want it as a string. So for that, I will be using another functionality called the concat with separator. In this, what I will be doing is I will be first selecting my employee name. Okay, I don't need my employee ID because in the output it was not there. So I will be needing my employee name, and in the skill list, I want the column name as skills, and I want it to be separated by comma but in a string format. So I'm selecting what? I'm selecting my column name called employee name. Now I will be using my concat with separator. With the help of this comma, this is my separator, which is the comma. Okay, it is separated by comma, if you will see. So my with separator is comma. Then I will be concatenating them in string format, and which column I want to use. It is the skill list. After concatenating separated by comma, I am aliasing it with the skills. So I will be just going ahead and giving the result. So if you will see now, each employee name is having these many skills, and these skills are in a string format. If you will see here, what is the format of the skill? It's string. It's no longer array of the string, because that is my requirement of this particular question. And if you don't know how to use alias also, I'll recommend you to watch my video in which I have explained how to use the alias. If I, for example, just go ahead and remove this alias, how the output will look like? It will be looking like concat with separator. What is my separator list? It's comma. And then what is the column on which I've done? It's the skills list. So this is how it will display, but this is not the correct way whenever you are actually working in a environment of your project. Please don't do that. Alias it so that it can be reutilized in the next data frame. So I'm rerunning this particular to show you the output. So this is my output. So this is a easy to medium question, I would say. So because these functions like concat with separator and your collect list is not very common that is asked in interview, okay, but there are questions related to it, because it's a good to know, because these are also used in the business requirements when you are working in the projects. So you should be aware of this, and that's why this question was asked in the Deloitte interview in the second round. So I hope you understood how to actually go ahead and use collect list and contact with separator and answer this interview question. Now, as I stated, I will be giving you a second approach of this particular question. Now, if you will see, there is no duplicate here. It is ADF, ADB, Power BI, ADF, SQL, Crystal Report, ADF, SQL, SSIS, SSAS, and ADF. Let me do one thing. Instead of SSAS, I will be replacing this with SSIS and creating my data frame again. And then what I want is, I don't want it to be duplicated. I want it once. Okay. So now let's try to approach that particular question. So this is my SSIS. Now, if you will see, SSIS comes twice for AC, that is employee ID 4. So we don't need it to be repeated when we are having it in one record, right? So what I will be doing is, I will be using the same thing. That is I will be creating my data frame, and this is there. Now, if you will see, it is 2 times, and now if I run this particular command, it will still show me 2 times. Okay, how we can go ahead and remove and replace and get only one, which is the distinct record? The easiest way here is, instead of collect list, we have another function called collect set. What does this collect set do? The collect set basically removes your duplicates from your particular data set. So instead of collect list, what I will be doing is, I'll be using my collect set. Now in this collect set, you see the SSIS only comes one. So instead of four records, it's only showing me 3 records, because SSIS was duplicate, but now it's only one. Now if I run this particular command, you will see SSIS is only one for AC. So this is how you can actually remove the duplicate if the duplicate records are there. It's very important to know, because you don't need duplicate records in your data set. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. You have learned a different approach of this question, how it can be asked in the interview as well. And if you have liked this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends as well.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.